Welterweight bout here. Machado Garry coming in at minus 420 against Neil Magny, who's replacing Jeff Neal. Coming in at plus 320. Over under 1.5 rounds, minus 180 for the over, plus 150 for the under. Neil Magny coming in short notice. 36 years of age for him. He's going to match the height for Ian Garry. Ian Garry, 25 years of age, still undefeated, and looking to pick up another win here against the veteran Neil Magny, who is a big underdog in this one. But I got to say, it seems to me like at this point, he's fighting for paychecks. And taking this one on short notice on a pay-per-view card against a guy like Ian Garry, who was favored to win against Jeff Neal. Big favorite here against Neil Magny. It seems like he's just filling in for a body to take a loss against Ian Garry. Will he possibly give him a tough fight if he holds on to him and uses his strength and his veteran IQ, I guess, just to make the fight closer than it should be? He could. He's never been knocked out, or he's been knocked out twice in his career. He's never been knocked out in the first round since 2017 or 2016. They said in a 3-round fight, he's only been knocked out once in a 3-round fight. So there's that. The path to victory for Machado Garry is usually on the feet. Not going to get many submissions. He's only got one submission on his record. So it could be closer than the line looks, but honestly, I just don't give Neil Magny much of a shot in this one. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think on the feet, Ian Garry is going to be stronger, hit harder, obviously be more athletic and flashy and accurate, in my opinion. Neil Magny wins fights when he can just kind of make it dirty and grind it out and put you up against the cage and wear you down, kind of like the Phil Rowe split decision win he just got a few months ago. Ian Garry, though, I feel like everybody knows him for his striking, but I have a feeling one of these fights, we're going to see how good he really is, all around. I bet he's way better than people think on the ground. I bet he's, wrestling-wise, I bet he can hang with guys. He's a big dude for 170, 6'3". He's got a long reach, and he's strong and super athletic, so it makes it interesting. The one thing that I do like about Ian Garry lately is he did have to face some adversity against Song Kanan when he got dropped. That left hand was nasty. Put him down, able to survive, comes back, gets the finish in the later rounds. He's been taken down a couple times in the UFC. He can pop back up. And it seems like, the guy can fight for the duration of the whole 3 rounds, as we saw him get the finish against Song Kanan in the 3rd round. And, he's gone 3 rounds with Gabe Green, landed 116 strikes there. He's always outstriking his opponents on the feet. He's always working to get up if he gets taken down. I do think this is a better matchup for him than a guy like Jeff Neal, who will stand and who does hit extremely hard. Putting him in there against Neil Magny, I think he could put on a clinic on the feet, especially if Neil can't get close and get his hands locked and just wear him down. If Ian Garry's able to separate and create space every time Neil gets in close, it's just going to be him picking him apart the whole entire fight until he either finds a finish or just dominates on the feet. Ian Garry outstrikes everybody he fights. You look at the numbers. Against Rodriguez, it was only 23-7. Then he, obviously knocked him out. Song Kanan, 127-55. That's a massive difference. Yeah. It's almost 100 strike difference, 75 strike difference. Gabe Green, 116-90. Ian Garry, 74. Darian Weeks, 40. He puts on clinics on the feet. I see this fight being no different. And there's no way I'm picking Neil Magny here.
Yeah, it's just if there was a full camp, I could look a little bit closer at Neil Magny, but this, it's just it's a paycheck. That's all I see. Right. is Neil Magny stepping in for a paycheck because he knows on a full camp he'd probably lose to Ian Garry. So he's like, all right, I don't have to waste the time, and I'll get paid a good little pretty penny to step in here and take the fight. Ian Garry's big strength is his speed and his accuracy, because you look at 6'3", Neil Magny's 6'3" too, but he's just going to be way faster. He's going to be in and out. He's going to be hit you with the kicks. Neil Magny's striking has looked terrible in the past few years. He's just not hitting dudes. All he does is hold you up against the cage and maybe land a takedown here or there, lay on you. It's not going to, threaten too much with submissions there. He just submitted Daniel Rodriguez, but we saw what Ian Garry did to Daniel Rodriguez. So it's just not going to be a fun night at the office for Neil Magny. I mean, like I said, he's only been knocked out once in his entire career in a 3-round fight. But I don't know. I mean, maybe this one is like, I could see Ian Gary catching him with something. I have been a little critical of Ian Gary because of his lack of finishing ability since he's been in the UFC, because he had back-to-back decisions and then nearly went to a decision against Song Kanan. But the first round head kick against D-Rod helps a little bit for his sake there. Got to go with him for the pick, and probably a solid parlay piece, but you're not getting much there.
Yeah, I'm gonna predict the finish right here. I think Ian Gary's been training in Brazil, trying to get that jiu-jitsu work in. I'm gonna call club and sub for Ian Gary here, get his first UFC submission. Why not submit the grappler and the guy who can get subs? I mean, Neil Magny's been submitted 5 times in the UFC alone.
Yeah.
And Ian Gary has the length. If he gets on top, I could see him being petty and looking for that sub. Add one to his resume. Club and sub Ian Gary, I'm calling it.
Honestly, I would be interested to see what the sub line is.
Yeah.
Because if Neil's probably going to look to go for the takedown, and he's been caught with a guillotine a number of times as well. So, like you said, the submission prop is definitely something to take a look at. You'll probably get a much better number there than the KO prop.